Previously, I talked about the fact that many people have their conversation with their prospect in what we call the table stakes area, meaning the area where you and your competition are talking about the same thing. And when your prospect hears that and they can't tell the difference, then they have to force some contrast, and the only way they can do that is on price. Let's talk about what that looks like so you can get an understanding of where you need to focus your conversation. This is you. This is all the great stuff that you do. You would love to talk about all of this stuff to your prospect. The problem is your prospect has their own set of critical business issues and needs, and it looks something like this. So they have things that are important to them that you don't address. You have things that you do that don't address them, but there is this area right in here where what you do and what they're looking for coincide perfectly. In a perfect world, this is where you would focus your conversation. But we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a world where it's not just us and our prospect. There's also a third party in there, and that's your competition. And your competition sits over here. They have things that they want to talk about that they do, but they also have things that they want to talk about that fall right here in the middle. This is the table stakes area. Another term for this is called value parity. Now you have to have the conversation with your customer about this particular area. The challenge that I see is many companies focus too much of their conversation in this area. As a matter of fact, in doing some research, the number can be as high as 70% of their conversation is in this table stakes area, and that just doesn't do you any good. I've actually talked to organizations that spend time talking over here about things that they don't even do that their competition does, and they spend time talking over here about things that they do that aren't important to their customer. This is where you need to focus your conversation on those things that you do uniquely and that are important to your customer, but that your competition doesn't do, right in here. And the term for this is called a value wedge. This is where you want to focus your conversation. And in the value wedge, you talk about things that are unique to you, that are important to your customer, and that you can defend through customer stories, testimonials, and things like that. If you know your value wedge and you're not spending almost all of your time in there, then you're making a mistake. You do have to talk about the table stakes stuff, but you need to focus your conversation on those unique differentiations that you have that are important to the customer. If you don't know what your value wedge is, you got to figure it out. If you'd like more information, just send an email to the address below and put value wedge in the subject line. And as always, thanks for your time.